Hiya, what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to make baklava. Now, everybody really loves baklava. You know, when you've been on holiday to Greece or Turkey and you get that nice little Arabic coffee and they give you a little bit of sweet baklava to go with it. So here's the ingredients. Right, first of all, we're going to use some butter, quite a lot of butter, right? Then the filling is the pistachio nuts, flavoured with a little bit of cinnamon. Then we got the filo paste, and then we make a syrup that we pour over the hot baklava, made with brown sugar, water, a lemon there, and honey. And then we use this size tray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the filo sheets, I'm going to grease them with loads of butter, and then we'll build them up in layers, and then we'll be able to have this with our cup of coffee. So I hope you enjoy this. Let the magic begin. So when we make baklava, the first thing I need to do is to make that syrup, because we want that syrup to be cold before we pour it over the hot baklava. That's important. One needs to be hot, the other one needs to be cold. So the way I'm going to do it, the syrup's going to be cold. So I want to do that first of all. So I've got myself a saucepan here, and I've got a cup full of brown sugar. I've also got a cup full of honey here. And we'll put that together. And we've also put a little pinch of cinnamon. I like that spice. You can put cloves or whatever in there, or even some essence of orange. I've put lemon in there, and then what we do with a little bit of cold water, so that's 3/4 of a cup of water, 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 of honey, 3/4 of water, lemon juice from 1 lemon, little bit of cinnamon, and we just pop that on the stove. Let that dissolve and boil it for 2 or 3 minutes, and then we put that to one side. So here's the syrup, that's on the fire there, and as you can see that I've melted the butter that I'm going to butter each sheet of filo. And then here we go, I just put juice of a lemon there, or just under a lemon there, to go into that syrup, and we just let that bubble away there until we're ready, and then we cool it down. So now the interesting bit starts. We're going to start building the layers of filo. So what I've got here, you need to keep your filo covered because it will dry up and grow brittle. Now that's the tin that I'm going to use, and here I've got my melted butter and my paintbrush here, so my pastry brush rather. So I'll butter the bottom of the tin, make sure it's thoroughly buttered, and up round the sides as well. So that's there. So we take the cloth off, and as you can see, the filo's there, and I want to measure my tin, so just slightly, because I want it to come up either side. So I've marked it here, and I'm going to cut that down there. These bits of filo pastry, we don't throw them away. We make samosas with them on another time. So cling film that, I'll put it in the fridge. Samosas, you do a dry filling, you put it there, you put a dry filling there, and then you fold it, and you wet it, and then you fold it, and you wet it, and then you fold it, like that, and then you wet that over, and wet it again, and that's your samosa. So that will be another time. So we just keep that, and what I do is that I've buttered that, so I'll put my first sheet there, like that. First sheet, get it fairly tidy, butter it thoroughly. We're doing about 5 sheets between 2 layers of nuts, but we'll see how we go. I may change my mind as we go along. So we start doing that. Now the important thing is, because we need to work quick, is that you butter both sides of your filo. This is why we use so much butter, and this which makes the baklava so lovely and rich. Right, so we've done that side, so we carefully pick that up and we'll place it butter side down, and then we butter this side. So if we do 5 sheets, and then we'll put the nuts on it. So now I've started putting the pistachio nuts. Now I've whizzed these up in my little liquidizer. Not too much, because we don't want it dust, we want some sort of texture to that. So that is 5 sheets, pistachio nuts. I've got 5 more sheets here, and we build it up like that. So I butter it again. Got to work quickly. Like that. And then I place that down on top of the pistachio nuts, and then butter the other side. And this is how we build it up, and we get that lovely flaky baklava at the end. So I'm getting towards the end. So if you look here, I've put 5 sheets, and then I'll put the pistachio nuts. I've done another 5 sheets, and I've put the pistachio nuts. So that's 15 sheets so far, and that's another 5 sheets, so that's 20 sheets with pistachio nuts after every 5. And then this will be the last of it. I won't put any more pistachio nuts, and then I'll take you on to the next stage. Okay, so I finished building it up. It's there, all right. I've trimmed the edges off, but now I need to cut the little diamonds that we're familiar with baklava. So I've taken it long ways there. I've cut it in half down the middle. Now you've got to be careful here, because you don't want to drag the pastry up to the sides. So I'm using a serrated edge knife that I usually cut citric fruit with. So I'm carefully doing that. And now this goes into the oven on a moderate oven. So let's say 160, 170. It would take in between 3/4 of an hour to an hour, I would imagine, but you've got to keep an eye on it. Okay, going back to cutting it. So I've cut down 3 ways like that, and then I cut across to get that diamonds. Now I'm using my hands to hold it, because I don't want it to pucker up and look a bit of a dog's dinner. So that's what we do. We cut that, and then, like I said, moderate oven 3/4 of an hour, maybe an hour. Keep checking it, and then we go on to the next stage. So the baklava's been in the oven, about 160 degrees, for 3/4 of an hour. So here it is. Doesn't that look amazing? So what I need to do now is that I've got the syrup that I prepared earlier, and I carefully pour that over. Do you hear that sizzling? That is a great sign that you've got the syrup at the right temperature, and the filo paste is literally, this has just come out the oven. So I'm going over, just making sure that my syrup will do the whole filo pastry. Look at that. Just enough syrup. The smell of the honey is absolutely beautiful. As you can see, there's quite a bit there. You'd only want one bit with your coffee. And then I've got some of the pistachio nuts from what was left, and we just put a few on top of each one, like that. So there you have Turkish baklava with pistachio nuts, flavoured with lemon and honey. Enjoy.